As you know, feminists are always blaming men for all of their problems. Men make more money than women. Men have higher status. Men rule the world. Failing to understand or acknowledge that women actually play an equal part in the situation that society is facing today. In his incredible book, The Evolution of Desire, Strategies of Human Mating, David Buss explains, quote, "A startling consequence of sexual strategies, for example, is that men's dominant control of resources worldwide can be traced to women's preferences in choosing a mate. These preferences, operating repeatedly over thousands of generations, have led women to favor men who possess status and resources and to disfavor men who lack these assets. Ancestral men who failed to acquire such resources failed to attract women as mates." He continues to say, quote, "Women's preference for successful, ambitious, and resourceful mates and men's competitive mating strategies evolved together. These strategies include risk-taking, status striving, coalition formation, and an array of individual efforts at besting other men on the dimensions that women desire. The intertwining of these co-evolved mechanisms in men and women created the conditions for men to dominate in the domain of resources." Quote, "The force that originally caused the resource inequality between the sexes, namely women's preference and men's competitive strategies, are the same forces that contribute to maintaining resource inequality today." By the way, men, you should all read this book if you hope to begin to understand these fascinating creatures. It's an astounding look into human behavior and the strategies of human mating and relationships. He continues here, "Feminist theory sometimes portrays men as being united with all other men in their common purpose of oppressing women. But the evolution of human mating suggests that this scenario cannot be true because men and women compete primarily against members of their own sex. Men strive to control resources, mainly at the expense of other men. Men deprive other men of their resources, exclude other men from positions of status and power, and derogate other men in order to make them less desirable to women. Women do not escape damage by inflicted by members of their own sex. Women compete with each other for access to high-status men, have sex with other women's husbands, and lure men away from their wives. Women slander and denigrate their rivals, especially those who pursue short-term sexual strategies. Women and men are both victims of the sexual strategies of their own sex, so it can hardly be said that they are united with members of their own sex for a common goal." By the way, this book has an astounding study that proves that in cultures with bigger governments, like a New World Order, bigger welfare systems, a bigger nanny state, women are more promiscuous because they are less cautious about their sexual preferences or sexual behaviors with men, because if they get knocked up, they don't need the man to help take care of them or to help provide resources or protect them, because they have the government to do it. Quote, "In some cultures, such as Sweden, premarital sex is not discouraged, and practically no one is a virgin at marriage. One reason is that women in Sweden are far less economically reliant on men than women in other cultures. One scholar notes that marriage provides little benefits for Swedish women relative to most other cultures. The Swedish social welfare system includes daycare for children, long-paid maternity leave, and other material benefits. The Swedish taxpayers effectively provide what husbands formerly provided, freeing women from their economic dependence on men. Women's economic independence from men lowers the cost of them of a free and active sex life before marriage or as an alternative to marriage." So basically what that means is that women in countries like America now are less cautious about who they're going to sleep with because, well, if they get knocked up, the government will take care of them, so they don't need to worry in their own mind about being careful in selecting a man who may stick around. So basically, the New World Order is literally turning women into floozies and a bunch of skanks. So anyway, that's the news for now. Feminists like to blame men for ruling the world and being dominant and having status. But the only reason that we strive for status, why we are driven to earn an incredible amount of money and dominate the world, is because, well, that's what women want. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new. Check out some of the previous videos and the playlists. And stay tuned. There's more videos coming soon.